Hey guys, welcome back to today's video. And finally, I had some success with the soft stones. Um, like I said, Sherry at Up North Adventures CCC, she reminded me that there's a dry corncob method for polishing softer stones. So I ordered some, and actually, it's for the ammo guys. Typically, anyway, the ammo reloading type fellers use it, and yeah, I had some stunning success. Here's after the dry corn cob, and these are those coquina jaspers that I've been trying to get a good polish on forever and haven't been able to. I mean, this was the best I've been able to do. This here was the best I've been able to do so far. And I just dropped it in a mixture of corn cob media and 2 tablespoons of stage 4 into the vibratory tumbler. And 2 days later, this was the polish that came out of it. So definitely a big improvement on the coquinas. And they were the first stone I threw in there. So, I mean, they're not the glossy high finish that, you would expect with an agate or a jasper, but they're definite improvements from that. I mean, this versus that, there's no comparison. They are just so much shinier. Um, and I did get I had, unfortunately, I don't have any spray nozzles out there to really wash these stones off. So they do have a little powder and grit on them yet. But yeah, that's just a matter of washing them up, probably in the sink here. That little bit of grit's not going to hurt my plumbing. Oh, what the first things, actually, I think the first things I did was these appetites. And yeah, as you can tell, there's a definite improvement. Remember there was always these little lines in there, these little pits in there that hadn't been polished prior, and now they got that nice shine on them. Some of them still came out a little goofy. Like this guy didn't really take much of an improvement, but for the most part, they definitely got better for sure. Again, it was the same mixture, but as I went during the week, I really just stopped adding more and more grit. I started with a full 2 tablespoons and of stage 4 aluminum oxide, and by the end of the week, I think for this last batch I didn't even add anything, but these appetites were I think I added 1 tablespoon. No, I started with the appetites. They were the first thing I threw in there because being the softest stone I've tumbled. And let's see. Oh, here's an old one. Let me find a comparison piece. Da, 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 da. All right, so here's one that was just straight up wet polished, typical stage 4 vibratory. And then here's a similar stone after running it through the dry polish. So a little bit of a difference. Can't really tell on these pieces, these types of pieces with a heavy brown in them, whatever that brown material is. I can't remember what it is. Um, Really kind of just inhibited it. But like I said, on these softer or on these ones that were pure, the blue mineral, the shine came out pretty solid. So really good. Let's see. Then I did a batch of fossils and we revisited the fossils and some Kona dolomite. And the Kona dolomite has always had kind of a waxy look to it. But man, look at that shine it took. Again, it could use a little better rinse, but wow. All right. So definitely much better. Um, this one, again, I added 1 tablespoon to refresh the dry media, the corn cob. And eventually I'll do a tutorial on that stuff and how to do that. Right now, I mean, I got to get into my tumbler. I got to start remaking that. I got all the parts for my new tumbler, so I got to get into that. And I don't know if you remember this one from last week. I'm trying to show it here if I haven't alongside it. But the parts that weren't fossil didn't polish, and now you can see it's got a nice smooth polish across all of it. It's got the same gloss across the entire stone, so definitely very cool for this piece of little fossil soup thing I have got here. Um, Oh, here's that piece of horn coral, or I assume it's horn coral. And it took a nice polish all the way across the stone. Really cool. Again, not a high gloss, but better than it would have been. Oh, and then I threw some rhodonites in here too. And the batches that you see here are about all the more that could go in that. I mean, I got a 4 pound vibratory tumbler, and that's about all the more that would fit in there. And because you don't want the stones to hit each other, so you can't really put all that much in there. So there's some rhodonite. I got a piece of old rhodonite here that was the typical, I think I ran it through stage 5. You heard me last week. So not a huge difference, but you see the little pitting in there. And that pitting is just kind of smoothed away with the new pieces. So still an improvement on the polish. Very cool. And okay, and here's a batch I added no extra grit. So I ran these 3 through. I ran the apatite. I added 2 tablespoons of aluminum oxide, 1 tablespoon, added 1 tablespoon, added nothing. So I was just using up whatever grit was left in there. And definitely a little shinier on the one that I had used grit or added fresh grit to, but still a good shine. That's still the better than it was. Let me see if I can find another piece of that cone of dolomite. I had it laying around. Okay, here's the old cone of dolomite, pre-polish, pre-dry polish. And you can definitely see it definitely took a better shine. I mean, this was the best I could do, that little waxy look to it. It has a bit of a shine, but not much. But now it's almost gloss compared to what it was. So much better, much improved. Let's see, what else did I send through there? A little piece of horn coral. Yeah, definitely got a better shine. And let's see what else. Oh, yeah. This one, I was surprised at the shine on this one. This was like almost glossy when it came out. Pretty little piece of fossil. And then, oh, I added in some other coquinas. I wanted to see if they have a little bit of that powder on them. Again, I wasn't able to rinse everything super thoroughly. Try to get that powder off it. And you can see, well, let me find a similar piece here. Okay, there's one that had the full 2 tablespoons. This one I didn't add any. I was just using leftover grit on it. And yep, you definitely want to refresh the grit. I mean, a little better shine on if you keep adding the grit. So yeah, definitely a better shine on the one grit. But it was just kind of a neat experiment. I just wanted to see if you needed to refresh the grit every time. And like I said, initially I added 2 scoops or 2 tablespoons, and then I just added 1 tablespoon of aluminum oxide. But my aluminum oxide doesn't really, I don't know, I got 5 pounds of it, and 5 pounds of every other grit fits in one of my little Tupperwares, and then the aluminum oxide, it kind of poofed out a little bit, and I ended up going into 2 containers. So when I say a tablespoon, I kind of feel like I'm actually, you know, it's just more like a teaspoon of the other stuff. So, or so. But yeah, so definitely an improvement. I will be getting around to doing a video on that eventually, but first I got to get that tumbler done. And if that means I don't post a video next week, I guess that means I don't post a video, because that has got to be priority number 1, and I don't have a whole lot of free time in my evenings right now. In a couple of weeks, wrestling will be over, and I'll have some time back, but until then... Oh, here's one that kind of didn't look like it took a shine, but now that I got under the light, I guess it did. It was just the stone itself. It's just a grayish, I guess. Yeah, so, yeah. Well, thanks for watching. I hope that inspires you to use some corn cob. And like I said, there are some videos out there, not clear, high tutorials on them that I saw anyway. At least with my casual search. But, so I'll be doing one eventually to really demonstrate how to get it done. And, yeah, until then, I will see you next time, probably next time, with a tumbler build. So, see you then. Bye.